Matt, tell me, what was your main motivation to become a sleep coach?
Yeah, so 3-4 years ago, I had some of the worst sleep you could imagine. I was waking up at 3-4 in the morning every single day. I could barely get to sleep. I couldn't stay asleep, and it was ruining my life. And everything I tried didn't work. I spent over 23,000 euros trying to fix my sleep. I saw specialists, psychologists, everything, and it was just like one failure after another. But eventually, I figured it out. And by the end of it, I was just thinking, well, hang on a second. If I had this problem, maybe other people do as well. So I just thought, okay, I'm just going to reach out there, start using social media, start talking about sleep, like my experience, what I've learned. And I kind of quickly realized, I wasn't alone. There's loads of people who have severe sleep issues. B, the sleep advice out there isn't as good as I thought it would be. I felt I can do better. And it helps people.
Yep.
As soon as you can fix someone's sleep, it helps with mental health. It helps with their energy. It helps with productivity.
I can vouch for that, yeah.
It's
correlated with everything, basically.
everything.
Yeah.
And it's barely spoken about. Like,
It is.
if there are thousands of influencers out there with millions of followers talking about sleep, then I wouldn't have done it. I'd be like, okay, this area is already covered. There's no point me, like a guy who's had this experience, to jump in. But there's hardly anyone.
But how is it possible that something, so common doesn't have already a niche, Because we all need sleep, right? But why do you think people are not talking about it?
I mean, the biggest influencer on sleep right now, you argue, is Matthew Walker. And he has like 100K Instagram followers, which is nothing. I mean, there'll be random people in Prague who aren't famous at all, who have 100K Instagram followers. So I think the reason why sleep's so unpopular, or maybe not talked about so much, is it's not very sexy. It's not like, it hasn't got the same appeal that dieting or fitness would have. And I think it's been taken for granted in the past. I think it's a relatively modern phenomenon where people's sleep has got as bad as it is now. While people have had weight issues or a lot of the other issues, maybe a bit longer. And it's complex.
Yep. And also, not everyone is looking at us when we sleep, when we exercise, or we wear nice clothes, people look at us, but when we sleep, this process, your loved one, right? But your girlfriend, boyfriend will look at you, but no one else, right? Because it's such an, like you said, not a sexy thing.
Yeah. It's hidden. No one sees it. You're right. Like you can, if you're a fitness influencer, you can share your working out, and you get all these YouTubers who are topless in every video and stuff. When it comes to sleep, I could share videos of me sleeping, but I ain't going to get any views. So it's boring. Yeah. So this is why it goes under the radar. I suppose another reason is we have this hustle culture.
Definitely.
Just kind of sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah.
Don't need sleep. And,
especially the founders, CEOs, right? And suffer a lot from that.
Yeah, but there's this pressure to be working all the time. And ultimately, I guess I just want to bring a different message. What I'm trying to say is, okay, some people say they don't have time to sleep. But what I think they're really saying is they have time to be tired. So I want to flip the script. And instead of people having time to be tired, I want people to have no time to be tired.
That's a good mantra, yeah. Because everyone around me, when I ask them, and, in my 30s, how are you feeling? And I get most of the answers, I'm tired from work, I couldn't sleep, woke up in the middle of the night. It became more common, I think, also to talk about it. But I think also this, tiredness and work, people want to also present, in a way, I'm working super hard, I am, like a hustler. I, like you said, don't have enough time to sleep. I don't know if people are bragging now with it or what, but I hear it everywhere between people from my age.
Yeah. I mean, this is my life. I spent most of my life saying I'm tired. It's been like a big journey for me in terms of this. And don't get me wrong, we will be tired sometimes. There's many fantastic reasons to be tired. If your 3-year-old wakes you up at 2 in the morning and 4 in the morning and then 5 in the morning, that's an okay reason to be tired. That's fine. But a lot of people are tired for reasons that, if we're being totally honest, are not good.
Yeah.
Should you be tired at 11 p.m. or around bedtime? Of course.
Yeah.
It's natural to be tired. But being tired at 11 a.m. after your second coffee, that's a sign that things aren't going well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, talking about the coffee culture, right? On every corner now here in Prague, we have like a lot of nice, cool coffee shops, little bars, restaurant. There's a Starbucks, there's Costa, there are so many of coffee providers here. How is coffee related to sleep? And how many coffees can I have per day?
There's a strong correlation, as in caffeine, which is obviously in coffee, can have a negative impact on your sleep. This is quite well documented in science, so it can make it harder to fall asleep, and it can also damage the quality of your sleep. The main thing for people to realize is that there's a genetic component. Some people have caffeine sensitivity, some people don't. Unless you take a genetic test, you'll probably not know for sure. Therefore, if you have caffeine sensitivity, you should be stopping your coffee drinking probably around 10 a.m. realistically.
So that means 1 coffee per day.
For people who have caffeine sensitivity, that would be a safe advice. If you don't have caffeine sensitivity, if you digest it fast or a normal rate, still 2 p.m., 3 p.m. for most people would be the cutoff point. Where if you're having coffee after that, you're going to be sacrificing some of your sleep quality. And then the issue is, you sleep like shit. Then you need more coffee the next day. Yeah. You sleep worse.
And it's a vicious circle then, yeah, right. Okay. What would you recommend instead of coffee?
Decaf.
Decaf.
Yeah.
Okay.
So get high quality decaf, ideally made through Swiss water technique, which is like a non-chemical way to remove caffeine. And you still get the antioxidants, you still get the great taste, you still get the good feeling, the warmth, the comfort, but without wrecking your sleep. So switch to decaf in the afternoon. That's the best thing you can do.
What about tea?
Tea, I think, is good advice, as in a lot of teas have no caffeine. So great, have as much as you like. And if you're talking about black tea, Earl Grey, green tea, they have less caffeine on average than a cup of coffee. But it depends on the type of tea. So I personally like tea, some English, love it. But still, you'll be careful with tea. So you could say it might be a lighter version of the drug.
Oh, okay.
Because some people may be, coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon. That could be a fair compromise.
Yeah, it's really interesting to play with it because now I am on 2 coffees per day. And today I was thinking, because of this podcast, an interview we're preparing, I didn't want to embarrass myself much. So I just had 1 coffee to impress you that you saw me drinking recently. But I think a decaf can be a good option for many people, yeah. And looking further and looking at something that I personally tried, what do you think about melatonin? Because for me, it made me slightly more relaxed, but I felt a bit of a cranky in the morning. Can you cover me on this one?
It's a good question. Melatonin has many uses in terms of sleep. Melatonin, first of all, it's a hormone.
Okay.
So it's not a supplement, it's a hormone, which surprised a lot of people. Melatonin is what we create during darkness, tell our body to sleep. Therefore, quite sensible use of melatonin can improve sleep. However, there's a lot of ifs and buts here. First of all, the quality of melatonin that you can buy in most places is of question. There's a lot of low quality melatonin or where the dosages aren't correct. So this is one problem with melatonin. A second issue with melatonin is creating the right dosage. If you dose too much, it can maybe have negative effects. Dose too little, it won't do anything. The third thing is its benefit is normally quite small. So most scientific studies have shown that melatonin will improve overall sleep time by like 1 to 1.5%, which basically means you might sleep an extra 6 to 7 minutes, which is great, but it's not exactly, if you've got insomnia, that ain't going to help.
No, definitely.
And there's a lot of risks with it. If you get too used to it, if you can't sleep without it, and it can also just put you into bad habits. Like you'll do bad habits because, I'll just take my melatonin and therefore I get away with it. Therefore, based on all of this, I don't recommend it. I think if you know what you're doing, if you get, once you're past 40 years old, there's good reasons for it because our melatonin need does increase at that point, but it wouldn't be in my top 10 things to do.
Got it.
Nowhere close.
Yeah, that's a fair advice. Talking about melatonin, let's go to the sleeping pills. There is a huge leverage of consumption of the sleeping pills in Czech Republic and all around the world. And I personally know people who are on sleeping pills many years, and they say, I cannot just get up out of them because they just knock me down to sleep, right? They just made me feel relaxed. They just made me feel, that finally day is over and I can easily fall asleep. If everyone is using them, they're not that dangerous. How do you comment on that?
Okay, so sleeping pills, first of all, you're not normally having natural sleep with a sleeping pill. Most sleeping pills are antidepressants. They can alter your serotonin levels and other chemicals in your brain. Therefore, the sleep architecture you have when you sleep under a sleeping pill is normally not natural sleep. So there are big questions on the quality of sleep you get. So even if you pass out like this, doesn't mean you're sleeping well.
Oh, okay.
So this is one issue of sleeping pills and antidepressants, is that they can affect the quality of your sleep. The other issue is dependency. If you can't sleep without them, then you kind of know long-term that's an issue. Most people who have them feel groggy in the morning, which is a typical side effect. Nearly every single sleeping pill or antidepressant has side effects.
Of course.
Like if you go to the PIL, the patient information leaflet of any of these products, you'll see a whole list of side effects, which can affect your mental health in a negative way in the long term. It can affect how you process foods, muscle recovery, cognitive recovery.
This is good to mention because I don't think we're aware of this, right? The short-term fix is always sweeter than, the long-term consequence that we are, not being educated, read about, and consequently inform ourselves about. So
exactly. I mean, if you look at people like Matthew Walker, who's like one of the most publicized sleep scientists, his views, at least what he said so far, is that sleeping pills as an SOS, a short-term measure, can be helpful, but it's nearly never a good long-term solution.
Definitely.
And I think the science backs it up, but this also is pure logic. I don't think anyone who's been on sleeping pills for more than a year, 2 years, knows it's a good thing for them. We kind of all intuitively don't want to be in that situation. And I say it's from experience. I've been on sleeping pills, I've been on antidepressants, I've had to use them at times of grief and when I couldn't sleep, and I get it.
Yeah.
There's no criticism of anyone on these things.
Of course.
But I also have to speak the truth, which is that generally speaking, they're not a good thing.
Okay, now let's move to something very specific here in Czech Republic, and that's what we all want to do. We like to drink alcohol. I also have this feeling after one beer, I feel so relaxed, and I feel I can just easily fall asleep. It can just, put me directly to bed, but I'll tell you, I have a problem waking up then at 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. And like you said, I don't get the full night of sleep. Why?
There's a number of reasons. So alcohol is a sedative, and sedation isn't sleep. Therefore, basically alcohol can pass into the brain-blood barrier. So it can go into your brain essentially, and it's been proven in nearly every study that it will interfere with your REM sleep, your deep sleep. So if you drink alcohol anywhere close to sleep, even a small amount, it will reduce the quality of your sleep. That's why even after one wine a day after, people don't feel as good because the sleep quality goes down. Yeah. So it might help you to get to sleep, which is a sedative effect you mentioned. It can help you relax, but it's kind of downplayed, or the overall effect is a negative one because of the quality of your sleep. A lot of people, when they drink, they'll wake up during the night. They will be dehydrated. They will have lower quality sleep. And this, if you're doing this every single week, for example, but somebody who is a mid-lane drinker is maybe drinking 3 beers a week, okay? Maybe every Friday night they're going out for a drink, which seems innocent, right? Just one day a week going out for some drinks. But that's 1 out of 7 days they're not sleeping well, which is a month.
Yeah, counting the numbers, yeah.
You're not sleeping well. So it's like a big percentage of your life. And typically, especially drinking a lot, the day after you don't sleep as well. Yeah, because you then have a sleep debt from the night. So even very moderate, seemingly innocent drinking is actually having a massive macro effect. And this is a small amount. So if you're thinking of people who are drinking 2-3 times a week, going very heavy, like the impact on the sleep and the quality of life is beyond severe.
Of course.
And some people get upset with me, but I'm just going to say the truth. Like, this is the truth objectively.
And also it's not that, you invented the hot water. This is very... that this is very scientifically as well proved. So just exposing this and directly talking in the numbers, strengthens people a little bit more, right?
It struck me. I've drank most of my life, and I see many positives for it. I will still drink ad hoc, but for me that means move 3 times a year, not every week. Okay, and I want to just look at the positives. Okay. There's a big, I need to say, conspiracy that not drinking is boring, or not drinking is like something to be shameful about or strange. I think the shift in opinion and thoughts has to go the other way around. It shouldn't be non-drinkers justifying they're not drinking. It should be people who are drinking justifying why they're drinking. And what I mean by this is, if you're drinking deliberately, you want to, you know the consequences, you're happy to live with the consequences, with all the sense of information, that's absolutely fine. Enjoy it. Like, life is to be enjoyed, and we should let ourselves go now and then. We can sacrifice some sleep now and then. But if it's out of habit, or out of peer pressure, or out of not knowing how else to live, then these are reasons where I feel alcohol is just absolutely unnecessary. But we're behind 100 years of alcohol companies marketing to us. So it's alluring. It's seen as sexy, luxurious, fun, because that's all we've been bombarded with since being young children. Yep. All the TV adverts of alcohol show these glamorous people drinking. And I want us collectively to start challenging that concept.
That is a way to go, because I was also looking at, I think it was in England or in Ireland, they opened alcohol-free bar.
Oh, yeah? So
they have a lot of alcohol-free drinks, which leads me to one of my favorite drinks, that is Ferdinand, the non-alcohol beer, and the Birel I also like. Although I do drink sometimes, and I don't, then I have a good sleep. Yeah, but it's a very good concept, because especially for the people who are often, asked when they go out and they order non-alcoholic drink, so why are you not drinking? And I feel also it's a stigma on them, when they're not drinking.
Yeah,
and why would they even justify themselves that they're not drinking? So I think this concept, of non-judgmental environment, when you go out, is very, much in it. And for the people who are getting more aware of the negative consequences of alcohol, therefore lack of sleep and so on, to be, away where they can really enjoy themselves and be themselves, right? Because I feel like you said, and you said also that you are kind of being attacked about some opinions in that matter, feeling like they're judged, so.
I've flipped the script. I feel if people need to drink, then are they really being themselves?
No.
I think a lot of people drink because they're hiding from things. They are hurting inside and they want to escape. And drinking is a way to do that. And I've been one of them people, and I totally understand why you want to, because you're stressed from the week, you've got challenges in your life, and the alcohol is like a release from that. The big question is, why is that then? And I think alcohol stops many people from facing their real problems.
No.
It's kicking the can down the road every single Friday night. And 3-4 years down the line, you have a breakdown, partner leaves you, whatever else breaks apart.
No.
And it's just years of avoiding this problem.
Let's just, emphasize that one of the biggest problem of the violence in the families is alcohol. So, going on a little bit more drastical note, that's been going through the generations, right? So, it's, I think, very important to speak about it. When I see your post on LinkedIn, you are, being very innovative and very straightforward about bringing, the misconcept of this, alcohol joy, because I feel now everyone around finds themselves on Friday night in a bar, having just few drinks. It's Friday, I need to relax. But again, short-term fix and long-term, what are we having? Yeah. So we talk about melatonin, we talk about sleeping pills, alcohol, kind of let's say, negative aspects. What would you recommend from your experience as 3 positive pillars of sleep? If you could explain me what will good sleep be with 3 pillars, I'd be very grateful.
In terms of what good sleep is, that would be good signs of that would be not being tired in the morning. So not needing to have a coffee to wake up, not having this long period of grogginess. So waking up within more or less 5-10 minutes and being absolutely fine without coffee. That would be a sign of good sleep. Another one would be not having big crashes during the day. So not feeling super tired at 11 or not feeling super tired at 4. Don't get me wrong, there are natural dips in energy. This is well noted. From 12 to 4, you will have energy dips, but they shouldn't be dramatic. And then the last sign of, let's say, good sleep would be not falling asleep straight away, which might sound counterproductive, but if your bed hits the pillow and you fall asleep like this, that would be a great sign that you're sleeping too little, because no one should be so tired that they literally fall asleep instantly.
Okay, that's an interesting point. I haven't thought about it. Good, cool. And I was just thinking last day, I was walking here in Vinohrady and I passed near the mattress shop that got me thinking, Manda, this mattress just sleeping. Maybe just it's a bit bad for your back. Is it also a good correlation between good sleep and good mattress?
It's a super interesting one. Now, I'm being very honest. I spent a huge amount of money on my mattress and bed.
Okay.
Crazy amount of money. I spent like 15,000 euros